Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to my collection update video for January, the first month of 2015. Now, a lot has happened this past month in regards to my collecting. And basically, it all started back, I guess really this started back when FF5 showed up at my house, complete in box. Because what happened was I wanted to take it out of the box and take a look at it, right? I wanted to look at the game and the booklets and all those various things that came with it. And I found that getting them back in the box was a hassle at best, and I didn't want to risk breaking the box every time I wanted to take the game in and out to play it. But I wasn't really aware of any other real ways of storing them. Now, fast forward during the month of January, I was watching Game Boy Advanced collection videos just to see what games were out there on the system, to see if there were any that I would be interested in. And that's when I discovered the reproduction cases, which basically, for those of you who are not aware, in the case of the Game Boy games, they are DS-style cases used to store Game Boy games. So, what I did, basically one of the first things I did that month, was get these reproduction cases for the GBA games and the Game Boy games and what have you that I also picked up during the course of the month. And they work really well. It also helps that it'll save me a lot of money this way, so I'm not paying an arm and a leg every time I want to get a complete in-box copy of a game. So, just to show you, focus, come on. That would be the complete in-box, not complete in-box, the reproduction case for Final Fantasy V. There's Final Fantasy VI. And Pokemon Leaf Green. Now, other than that, my two main goals for this month were to get through the my Pokemon collection, and to get through my 3DS and my DS collection. And I'm happy to say that I got through both for the most part. The only Pokemon game I am missing, this is a bit of a spoiler for later on in the video, but the only Pokemon game I am currently missing is Stadium 2, which is something that I am I am pretty sure, barring any unforeseen circumstances, I will be picking up in the month of February. So you've got Pokemon Black 2, Pokemon Soul Silver, Pokemon Platinum, Pokemon Heart Gold, Pokemon Black, Pokemon Fire Red, which is actually a game that I have had for a while. I just didn't have any cases for it, so I didn't want to show it off until it was ready. Pokemon White, Pokemon White 2, and Pokemon Yellow on the original Game Boy. Now again, all of these are in reproduction cases. So those are the Pokemon games, and yes, there are technically still Pokemon games I do not own. I may or may not be picking them up, because for those of you who are not aware of how the Pokemon franchise works, the third game, every 3 games, how it works is 2 games are released initially, and then 1 game is released after that, that basically includes both of the games. So there are some where I opted to get the 3rd game, and then there are some where I got the first 2 instead for example, X and Y, which I'm surprised there wasn't a third game for X and Y, actually. And they haven't released a third game for Omega Ruby or an Alpha Sapphire yet. But other than that, I mean, I've got, yeah, you can see Pokemon Yellow here, although I have Fire Red as well. But yeah, you get the idea. There are some Pokemon games that I will not be getting because I already have them, just not in their individual forms. So then there are 2 other DS games that I picked up. One of them being Super Mario 64 DS. I love the N64 title. And I'm curious about the DS version. I like the updated graphics. I've only seen the opening cutscene of the game so far. I like the graphics, however, I will say that the Peach's voice acting in the DS version is really weird. I don't like it at all. That much I can say for certain. At least. Other than that, though, I mean, I'm curious, at the very least. I haven't touched it yet. This next game, however, is one that I have played rather extensively. For those of you who are not aware, I have not been streaming lately because I am actually getting ready to move, so a lot of my streaming equipment is packed away. And there was a lot of periods this month where I was not even able to be in the house because of moving-related things. So, my DS got a lot more out of it. I got a lot more out of my DS than I usually do. And the game that I decided to go with my DS, it's a game that I got this month. One of my favorite games of all time, Chrono Trigger. I was really, really happy to get this on the DS. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. There are things in the game I don't like, you know. For those of you who played the game, the race and the rat. You probably know what I'm talking about. However, I find that the rat is a lot easier on the DS version because the not the D-pad, the thumbstick works really well with tracking that bugger down. So I actually finished that up within, I think, 3 or 4 attempts, as opposed to the double-digit attempts. Like those of you, I guess no one really saw that, but back when I played the game on the SNES. So, that is those done. The DS games. Next up, let's do the PS4 games next. Oh, there's only 2. Alright, so a game that I initially had on, I think I had it on the 360. I decided to get it on the PS4 because I wanted to, because, well, you know what, I'll be able to explain it better when I show it. Walking Dead Season 1. I got it on the PS4 because I also got Season 2 on the PS4. Oh, that's Season 1 and that's Season 2, right. Anyway, Season 1 and Season 2, I got them both on the PS4. I wanted to get them on an update. I wanted to be able to get all of the seasons on one platform. Odds are this thing, I can't quite call it a fad, but I can't see it lasting past this generation. So I wanted to get it on as unified a platform as possible, and in order to do that, I needed to get it on an updated platform. So I got Season 1, I bought it for the PS4, I sold my 360 copy, and then I picked up Season 2 as well. I've already played Season 2, so I like it. I don't like it as much as Season 1, but I do thoroughly enjoy it still. So, yeah, there's my PS4 games. Then there are some Blu-rays and DVDs. I'm gonna show the DVDs first. They're something I talked about in last month's video rather. You've got Doctor Who Season 2 and Doctor Who Season 4. which, again, reviewing TV shows is something that I've had to put off until the move. Basically, once I've finished moving, once the place is finished being worked on, you know, we're moving in March. I'm hoping to start streaming closer to when we finished moving, and then the TV reviews will be a little bit farther down the road, but they should still be coming this year at some point. So that's the DVDs. Now for the Blu-rays. Funny story about this. I had nearly a perfect record with Amazon in the year 2014. So 2015 comes around, I decide I want to pick up some Blu-rays. Some Blu-rays that I thoroughly enjoy that I just hadn't gotten around to picking up yet. I got The Matrix, that's a steelbook, and Die Hard 1. And there was another Blu-ray, actually, that I bought in this shipment. Pirates of the Caribbean. However, Die Hard and Pirates of the Caribbean were both shipped directly from Amazon, and this was shipped by someone else. Now this came back, this showed up perfectly fine. Die Hard, I showed you the picture of Pirates of the Caribbean. Well, Die Hard had a gash down the spine. Thankfully, just replacing the case with another Blu-ray case was an option for this one. But you saw the picture, if you follow me on Twitter, you saw the picture of my Pirates of the Caribbean Blu-rays. The case was completely destroyed. There was no salvaging it. Unfortunately, I had to give up the discs because they were in perfect condition. But the case was completely mangled. And basically, because of the way Amazon works, I would have had to have paid the return shipping to replace it, which would probably have ended up costing more than the actual product. So I ended up just selling it to my used game store as is for like a few bucks. And then I ended up taking a loss on that. And again, this was being shipped by Amazon directly. The Die Hard was being shipped directly by Amazon with Pirates of the Caribbean. They were both damaged. This was not. Now, on the one hand, I'm glad that this wasn't damaged because it's easily the most limited thing that I've ordered. A steelbook for The Matrix is pretty hard to find. I've been trying for a while. But at the same time, if it had been damaged, because of the way most retailers work online, I would have been able to just be refunded and just deal with this as I like. That's how most retailers do it anyway. Not Amazon, though. Amazon requires you to return it before they get the refund, before they give the refund. It's really, really irksome, especially when they're the ones that are probably at fault. Anyway, that rant out of the way. There's one bit left. Again, I talked about this a little bit. I hinted at this a little bit with the one Pokemon game that I have yet to collect. I have started with N64 games, and again, these are in reproduction cases as well, although I'm not a huge fan of these reproduction cases, because they're universal. They're not suited for any one cartridge, which means the cart is kind of loose. Not too bad, so if I can't find a suitable replacement, I can live with this, but I'm gonna look into better cases for N64 games. If any of you are aware of better cases for the N64 games, please let me know in the comments. Anyway, I picked up 007 GoldenEye. Now, unfortunately, my cartridge is slightly damaged, so I might be upgrading that at some point. Probably not anytime soon, but at some point for sure. Pokemon Stadium, which, again, I probably gave that away when I said Stadium 2 was the only Pokemon game I had yet to get. And one of the most expensive games in my collection, by far. In fact, it's my second most expensive game in my collection, and something that I do not regret buying at all. The Ocarina of Time Collector's Edition. And just to prove that I actually do own the game, yeah, there it is, the gold N64 cart for Ocarina of Time. It was in the used game store, complete in box actually, but I wanted to save money on it and just buy the cart, so I think I ended up paying about $100 for it, maybe $120. I can't remember which one it was. Not my most expensive. Actually, my most expensive would be the Mega Man X collection, if you can believe it. But it does take the runner-up spot for sure. Anyway, that is it for my collection update video for January of 2015.